Alien Military Report, Why We Now Test Gravity Before Mocking Humans, a HFY story. Subject, Galactic Encounters Report, Incident 345b. Date, 29th Galactic Cycle, Year 7025. Region, Outer Rim Quadrant 23. Prepared by LT, Exoric of the Zdar Dominion. Executive Summary. This report aims to reflect on the lessons learned from a recent encounter with a species from the planet Earth, referred to as humans, which has drastically changed the Zdar military's approach to all future reconnaissance and mockery of lower-tier civilizations. Specifically, our interaction with these humans has led to the adoption of a new protocol, gravity testing before any direct engagement. The lessons from this incident cannot be overstated. Incident Overview. It began as most of our encounters with underdeveloped species do. The Zdar Dominion, in our eternal quest for conquest, regularly sends reconnaissance ships to lesser civilizations. These encounters are typically used to either gather intelligence or initiate first contact protocols. Our usual strategy involves observing from a distance, learning their weaknesses, and then proceeding to test their defenses, often through humiliation. Humanity, with its primitive technology and seemingly endless capacity for conflict, was initially deemed no different from other species we had encountered. They were barely able to travel beyond their planet and possessed inferior weapons, and their social systems were divided and chaotic. This suggested they would be a trivial target for our military superiority. However, it is here that our assumptions would be shattered. The gravity test. Our first major error occurred during a seemingly routine gravity test on Earth's moon. This test is a common prelude to many of our interactions with planetary species, designed to determine their resistance to gravitational shifts. Typically, we apply a slight increase in gravity in order to watch how species respond, allowing us to evaluate their physical limitations before further engagement. We expected the humans to struggle. We had conducted this test on dozens of species before, and the results were always the same: weak, slow, and unable to adapt to even moderate increases in gravity. Yet, the humans shocked us. Phase 1, the test. The gravity was adjusted to 1.5 times Earth's natural gravity, a test level that would have incapacitated most species. Our instruments tracked the human reactions. They stumbled, yes, but they did not collapse as expected. A few of their weaker individuals fell, but most adapted remarkably quickly. To our astonishment, some of them, those who appeared to be in excellent physical condition, actually accelerated their movements in the higher gravity, using it to enhance their physical prowess in combat. Phase 2, the fight. The next step was a series of combat simulations, which were to be carried out by a few elite Zdar warriors. We deployed a combat drone, loaded with weapons and armor that could simulate an enemy adversary. These drones were designed to overwhelm and exhaust weaker species with relentless force. We were prepared to showcase our superior combat technology. But once again, the humans defied our expectations. Despite their lack of advanced weaponry, the humans used guerrilla tactics that included using their environment and gravitational strength against the drone in ways we had never anticipated. They utilized rolling, leaping, and explosive physical maneuvers, taking advantage of their body's natural ability to harness the increased gravity in ways we, with our more refined combat styles, had not considered. A small human in his mid-30s, whom our database later identified as a professional fighter, completely outwitted one of our most skilled combat officers. It was, quite frankly, embarrassing. The human did not just survive, the human won. Phase 3, the realization. It was only after the combat simulations ended that our senior strategists began to truly understand the implications of what had transpired. We had assumed that physical superiority, combat proficiency, and technological advancement were the only defining factors of strength in a species. But the humans had demonstrated something we had never seen before in such a primitive species: resilience. Even after the gravity tests and the combat simulations, the humans showed no fear. They were determined, stubborn, and relentless. In fact, we began to realize that their very nature was their greatest weapon. A mere setback or defeat did not break them. Instead, it seemed to fuel their drive, pushing them to become stronger and more innovative. We had underestimated their ability to adapt, and this could have cost us dearly. Conclusion. In light of this event, the Tsar Dominion's military high command has instituted a new protocol for any future encounters with humanity or similar species, gravity testing as a standard procedure before mockery. We must respect their ability to adapt and overcome the very forces we use to break others. To mock them is to invite disaster. The new protocol involves conducting full environmental simulations on the target species before engaging. This includes various stress tests, gravity shifts, atmospheric pressure changes, and combat simulations. Only after this will we be permitted to proceed with mockery, and only if the species demonstrates the kind of weakness we can exploit. For those of us who had witnessed the humans in action, it became painfully clear: do not underestimate Earthlings. They are not just another primitive species. They are, in their own unpredictable way, terrifyingly capable, and their adaptability, particularly under the most extreme conditions, makes them dangerous. The lesson here is simple: before mocking the humans, test their gravity. End of report. Filed by LT, ex-Uric of the Tsar Dominion. Follow-up: the Human Resilience Protocol, Further Insights. Subject: Post-Incident Review, Human Resilience and Military Preparedness. Date: 45th Galactic Cycle, Year 7025. Prepared by LT, ex-Uric of the Tsar Dominion. Executive Summary. In the aftermath of our initial encounter with humanity, it has become clear that their resilience under extreme conditions demands a more comprehensive analysis. The previous report highlighted their unexpected adaptability to changes in gravity, but a deeper investigation into their social, psychological, and technological attributes is now warranted. The initial oversight regarding their strength was only the tip of the iceberg. This follow-up report will outline a strategic shift in how we must approach future engagements with Earth and similar species. Phase 1: The Resilience of Human Spirit. Our first significant revelation after the gravity test was humanity's remarkable psychological resilience. Most species in the galaxy, when faced with extreme conditions or near defeat, tend to surrender or retreat. However, the humans demonstrated a collective tenacity that goes far beyond physical adaptation. Even after significant hardship, failure, and loss, they continued to press forward. We observed their history from the first settlements on Earth to their eventual global conflicts. Despite suffering devastating defeats, they rebuilt, adapted, and overcame. The idea of failure, for them, does not equate to retreat. It serves as a stepping stone toward even greater innovation. Their war-torn past is filled with examples of individuals who, against all odds, rose to positions of influence and led their species to victories previously deemed impossible. This unyielding drive seems to be encoded in their very psyche, a factor we must factor into all future military strategies. Humanity does not break under stress. They evolve, often to an extraordinary degree. Phase 2: The Human Hive Mind Phenomenon. Another surprising discovery came during an intelligence-gathering operation on Earth's most populous regions. While humanity lacks the telepathic or hive mind capabilities of many species in the galaxy, we identified an intriguing collective intelligence that we now refer to as the human hive mind. This phenomenon occurs not through direct psychic connection but through their vast communication networks. Their instantaneous information exchange, enabled by their rapidly advancing technology, has created a kind of global synchronization that allows them to act as a unified front despite their cultural differences. Our military intelligence officers discovered that, despite human divisions, their global conflicts are often resolved through information sharing and technological evolution. This means that even in the event of one human group being defeated, the knowledge is rapidly disseminated and used to improve future operations. Their open-source nature and the rapid dissemination of new tactics and technologies have turned their global conflicts into constant cycles of adaptation and escalation, making them ever more formidable. Phase 3: Human Technology, the Unconventional Advantage. While humanity's technology is still far behind more advanced civilizations, their creativity in utilizing limited resources has proven to be an unpredictable advantage. One particularly notable example was their development of weaponized gravity manipulation devices, which they produced in response to the pressure of military conflict. These devices, though crude compared to the advanced gravitational technologies of the Tsar Dominion, showed an alarming degree of innovation. It is not only their ability to adapt under duress that makes them dangerous, it is their capacity to innovate at extraordinary speed when faced with existential threats. In a recent test of their technological advancements, we observed humans using electromagnetic pulse weapons to disable advanced military technology, including some of our drone units. They were able to disrupt our power grids and create electromagnetic fields capable of neutralizing our weaponry for brief periods. This kind of guerrilla innovation allows humanity to level the playing field in ways no other species has demonstrated. Phase 4. The human will to win, a cultural force. In all our observations, perhaps the most startling aspect of humanity is their unwavering will to win. This trait transcends individual strength or technological superiority. It is embedded in their culture, art, sports, and even their philosophies. Across generations, humans have been taught that overcoming adversity is not just a trait, it is the essence of existence itself. This belief has been the driving force behind some of their greatest achievements, from landing on their moon to exploring the vastness of space with primitive, yet effective, technology. Their media and literature frequently glorify the hero's journey, the struggle of individuals to rise above circumstances that would crush other species. It is this mentality that has driven them to conquer the challenges of their planet and has inspired them to set their sights on the stars. This cultural fabric has proven to be a powerful motivator, creating a population that does not just accept defeat, but actively fights for a chance to overcome it. In combat situations, even when outmatched, they will fight with an unrelenting fervor that often outlasts more technologically advanced species. The human resolve is, in fact, one of their most dangerous attributes. Phase 5. Recommendations for future engagements. In light of all these findings, the Zdar Dominion has updated its strategy regarding humanity. Our current policy, which focuses on underestimating their capacity for resistance, must be overhauled. Gravity tests as preemptive assessment. As previously noted, any engagement with humanity should first include extensive gravity testing, especially under extreme conditions. However, we must now account for their physical resilience under pressure, and we should expect them to recover and adapt quickly. Psychological warfare tactics. Psychological operations against humans must be approached with extreme caution. Attempts to demoralize or humiliate them could result in unforeseen consequences. Instead, we should engage them with respect for their resilience and adaptability, aiming to exploit their weaknesses in subtle ways rather than overtly. Technology neutralization protocol. Any engagement with human forces should involve cybersecurity measures to prevent their rapid adaptation to advanced technologies. While they may not be able to replicate our tech immediately, they will reverse engineer it with remarkable speed, often improving upon it in the process. Underestimated adaptation speed. Humans' ability to innovate quickly in response to military pressure must be factored into all planning. Constant adaptability means we must be prepared to face increasingly sophisticated tactics and technology on the fly. Conclusion. The recent engagements with humanity have irrevocably altered the Zdar Dominion's view of Earth and its inhabitants. Humanity's unexpected resilience, their collective will, and their innovative spirit have shown that they are not to be underestimated. They have proven that conventional superiority is not enough to defeat them. A more cautious, respectful approach is necessary, one that factors in their strength not just as individuals, but as a civilization capable of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. In short, do not mock the humans, learn from them. End of follow-up report. Filed by LT, ex-Auric of the Zdar Dominion. Phase 6. Human Alliances and the Power of Unity. Subject: Human Social Structures and Interspecies Diplomacy. Date: 60th Galactic Cycle. Year 7025. Prepared by LT, ex-Auric of the Zdar Dominion. Executive Summary. In our ongoing study of humanity, it has become clear that their ability to form alliances, both within their species and with external civilizations, has significantly enhanced their overall resilience and military capabilities. Although initially seen as a fractured species prone to internal conflict, humanity has shown an extraordinary capacity to unite under pressure and build formidable coalitions. This cultural and strategic flexibility now demands that we reconsider our approach to interspecies diplomacy with Earth. This report will explore the dynamic nature of human alliances, their diplomatic methods, and the dangers posed by their unified efforts, especially in the context of future military engagements. Phase 1. The evolution of human alliances. Historically, humans have been divided into multiple factions, ideologies, and political structures. At first glance, this fragmentation appeared to be a weakness, an impediment to their ability to act as a coherent, unified force. However, as we studied their development, we began to understand that humanity's divisions were the very thing that made them stronger. Rather than fracturing their society, their internal differences have often catalyzed the creation of alliances that transcend these divisions. Humans possess an ability to bridge ideological gaps, often working together for the collective good in times of crisis. Notably, their history has been marked by the formation of powerful, large-scale alliances, such as the United Nations and more recently, interplanetary coalitions. These alliances are formed out of necessity, but once established, they have proven incredibly resilient. One notable example is their ability to unite against external threats. Their world wars, despite the immense destruction, prompted the creation of global diplomatic structures that have allowed them to avert further widespread conflict. It is this reaction to existential threats that makes them unpredictable. What seems like a fractured species can, in reality, rapidly consolidate into a singular, unified force when facing overwhelming opposition. Phase 2. Human diplomacy, the art of negotiation and influence. Human diplomacy, in many ways, is not governed by rigid rules of protocol or force. Instead, it is driven by an art of negotiation that emphasizes empathy, compromise, and sometimes, strategic deceit. This approach to diplomacy has allowed humanity to form alliances with diverse species, including others who are much more advanced technologically and militarily. One of their most remarkable tactics is the ability to create lasting peace treaties even with enemies who once sought their destruction. Rather than pursuing the annihilation of their foes, humans often find ways to appeal to their opponent's sense of shared humanity or mutual interest. Their use of emotional intelligence is something we underestimated. Where our species rely on calculations and pure strategy, humans often appeal to emotion, showing compassion, understanding, and even vulnerability. These factors have allowed them to forge alliances with species we previously considered impossible to align with. Their history of successful diplomacy includes the Mercury Accord with the Rigolites, a species we had previously deemed impossible to coexist with. The humans negotiated this treaty not by offering technology or military advantage but by using their moral authority and invoking a shared vision for peace. They've used this tactic repeatedly to expand their alliances, both with fellow humans and other galactic species. Phase 3. The strength of the human collective mindset. Human alliances are not solely the product of political leaders or negotiators. They are grounded in a much deeper cultural belief, the collective mindset. The belief that their combined efforts are greater than the sum of their parts drives their alliances to unprecedented levels of cohesion. This unity in diversity allows humanity to face seemingly insurmountable odds. During a particularly intense conflict between human factions over a resource-rich planet, humans, despite their initial conflicts, quickly realized the existential threat posed by an external invasion. They rallied not only around their own survival but around the survival of their allies, even when it meant compromising on their own territorial or resource interests. This self-sacrifice for the greater good allowed them to consolidate their forces and fend off the invaders in a stunning victory. This phenomenon is unique among species we have encountered. Most civilizations would have either imploded or fractured under similar pressure. But humans demonstrate an uncanny ability to remain adaptable and united in the face of overwhelming adversity. Phase 4. The dangers of underestimating human alliances. Given their demonstrated ability to rapidly unite and forge new alliances, it is unwise to underestimate the power of humanity's collective efforts. It is no longer accurate to consider them a single, disjointed species easy to divide or conquer. Their alliances provide them with a synergy that amplifies their military and technological capabilities. When humans fight as a unified front, their strategic thinking and creative solutions allow them to overcome more powerful adversaries. This was evident during the First Interstellar War, when human alliances prevented the Tsar Dominion from achieving a complete victory. Despite our technological superiority, human alliances pose unique threats. Joint military operations. The humans have shown an ability to coordinate large-scale military operations, even involving species outside their own ranks. In battle, they employ a wide variety of unconventional tactics that blend their technological innovations with the strengths of their allies. The combination of brute force, guerrilla tactics, and innovative use of local environments makes them formidable opponents. Cultural integration. In their alliances, humans are remarkably effective at integrating foreign cultures and technologies. They adapt quickly to the needs of their allies, sharing knowledge and technology while simultaneously gaining insight into advanced strategies. This makes them more dangerous than a single species acting in isolation. Psychological warfare. Human diplomacy is often a battle of narratives, with each faction attempting to sway public opinion and morale. This gives them an advantage in any prolonged conflict, as they can shift the emotional and moral landscape in their favor. Their ability to sway allies, even entire populations, is a force to be reckoned with. Phase 5. Recommendations for future engagements. The Tsar Dominion must revise its strategic approach to humanity and its alliances. Expect rapid coalition formation. Any future attempts to divide or conquer humanity must be met with the understanding that they will likely form new alliances, often unexpectedly. Strategic efforts to fragment humanity must include countermeasures against their diplomatic resilience. Respect their negotiation tactics when engaging humanity, whether diplomatically or militarily. We must recognize their emotional intelligence and diplomatic ingenuity. Treaties or negotiations should be approached with respect for their ability to forge new alliances and form win-win situations even when facing overwhelming odds. Prepare for multi-species conflicts. Humanity's alliances include not only other humans but also species we may not yet fully understand. Their ability to unify disparate cultures under a single banner is something we must account for in all future military operations. Conclusion. Phase 7. The Human Combat Doctrine, the Art of Survival and Victory. Subject: Advanced Human Military Tactics and Combat Doctrine. Date: 75th Galactic Cycle. Year 7025. Prepared by Lt. Exoric of the Tsar Dominion. Executive Summary. In light of our previous reports on human adaptability, alliances, and technological innovation, we now turn our focus to their military doctrine, specifically, their methods of warfare. Humanity's approach to combat has proven to be more than just a matter of physical resilience or tactical ingenuity. It is deeply rooted in a philosophy of survival that has transformed their military operations into a unique and formidable force. Understanding this doctrine is essential to predicting their future behavior in war, and more importantly, ensuring that the Tsar Dominion is prepared for the full range of human military strategies. This report will examine the core principles behind human combat tactics, explore key battles where these principles were tested, and provide recommendations on how we, as the Tsar Dominion, can anticipate and counter these approaches. Phase 1. The core principles of human combat doctrine. Human combat, at its core, is driven by survival instinct and a relentless will to win, even against overwhelming odds. While other species in the galaxy approach warfare through calculated strategy, technological advantage, or sheer numbers, humans base their military operations on a set of foundational principles. The will to fight, humanity's willingness to fight, even when faced with annihilation, is perhaps their greatest strength. Unlike species that crumble under the weight of defeat, humans fight harder the more they are pushed into a corner. This is a reflection of their mentality of survival. They do not see defeat as an end, but as a challenge to overcome. Their combat readiness improves after each setback, not because of superior weaponry, but because of psychological fortitude. Guerrilla warfare and asymmetric tactics. Despite their lack of overwhelming technological power, humans excel in asymmetric warfare, engaging in hit-and-run tactics, sabotage, and using the environment to their advantage. Their ability to turn the battlefield into an unpredictable and chaotic environment is a hallmark of their strategy. The concept of small groups of highly skilled soldiers taking on much larger, more technologically advanced forces is a critical element of their combat doctrine. This was demonstrated during the Battle of New London, where a handful of human resistance fighters using rudimentary weapons managed to inflict heavy casualties on a full Thar battalion. The power of the unseen hand, psychological warfare. Humans excel in psychological tactics, often using deception and misinformation to destabilize and confuse their enemies. They understand that knowledge is power and manipulate both their enemies' expectations and perceptions of the battlefield through a combination of media, intelligence warfare, and subversive tactics. They are capable of altering the course of a conflict long before the first shots are fired. Adaptation and innovation. When faced with a technological disparity, humanity's response is not to retreat but to innovate. Their ability to reverse engineer enemy technology and quickly turn it to their advantage is almost unparalleled. Once a technology or tactic is learned, humanity rapidly adapts it for their use, often improving upon it with their resourcefulness. The introduction of the EMP-based disruptor bombs against our energy shields during the Second Battle of Titanes is a prime example of this quick adaptation, allowing them to temporarily neutralize our advanced weaponry and gain a strategic advantage. Unity under crisis. As previously noted, humans excel when united under a common cause. This unity is not just emotional, it is strategic. The human military can form a cohesive and organized force out of many different factions, ideologies, and skill sets. In the heat of battle, their internal differences often fade as their shared sense of purpose prevails. Phase 2. Case studies in human military strategy. To better understand the effectiveness of human combat doctrine, we will review several key battles where their tactics played a decisive role in turning the tide of conflict. The Battle of New London, year 7021. The humans, despite being outmatched technologically, used urban warfare and guerrilla tactics to devastating effect. They lured our forces into tight urban zones where our larger, heavier machinery struggled to maneuver. Hidden in buildings, tunnels, and even beneath the rubble of their own city, small squads of human fighters deployed explosive devices and ambush tactics, overwhelming our units with sheer unpredictability. Despite the loss of civilian life, human morale remained unbroken, and their resolve fueled their victory. The Siege of Iridian, year 7023. During a prolonged conflict on the mineral-rich planet Iridian, human forces were initially pushed back by our superior forces. However, their ability to adapt quickly was on full display. Within days, they set up makeshift bases on the planet's moons and began launching guerrilla raids on our supply lines. What started as a strategic setback quickly became a war of attrition, and their tactical expertise in surprise attacks gradually wore down our forces. The Titanes campaign, year 7020. For the humans once again demonstrated their adaptability during the Titanes campaign. We had anticipated their reaction, but they introduced a novel technology, the phase-shifter drones, capable of temporarily disabling our shields. This, combined with their hit-and-run tactics, severely hindered our ability to maintain control over the planet. The infiltration of human engineers and technicians into our supply chains, combined with their cyber warfare strategies, led to a significant loss of technological advantage. Phase 3. Psychological tactics and the human mindset. As we have seen, humans are adept at turning the psychological aspects of warfare to their advantage. Their use of propaganda, media influence, and moral arguments is unparalleled in galactic history. They are not only fighting with weapons but also with stories that shape perceptions, inspire hope, and galvanize entire populations to support the war effort. One of the most dangerous aspects of this psychological warfare is their ability to make their cause universal. Human warriors are not merely fighting for personal gain. They fight for a greater purpose. The idea of freedom, justice, and survival resonates deeply with every human, making them willing to fight for their world, even against overwhelming odds. When combined with their ability to form alliances, this makes the human military a force that cannot be easily crushed by brute force alone. Phase 4. Recommendations for Thar military strategy. To counter the human combat doctrine, the Thar Dominion must implement the following strategies. Counter-guerrilla training. All Thar soldiers must be trained in counter-guerrilla tactics. We must learn to recognize and counter the ambush strategies, surprise attacks, and traps that humanity excels at. This means abandoning traditional battle lines and embracing a more fluid, adaptive form of warfare that can respond to rapid shifts in the battlefield environment. Psychological resilience. Xar forces must be prepared for the psychological toll of warfare against humans. We must be aware of their ability to disrupt our morale and must train our soldiers to resist their propaganda, media manipulation, and intelligence warfare. Understanding that humans will never quit is key to maintaining our own resolve. Phase 8. The Human Homeworld Advantage, a battlefield unlike any other. Subject: the tactical and strategic importance of Earth in human military operations. Date: 95th Galactic Cycle. Year 7026. Prepared by Lt. Exoric of the Xar Dominion. Executive Summary. As our understanding of human combat and alliances continues to evolve, it has become increasingly apparent that Earth, humanity's homeworld, provides them with a distinct strategic and tactical advantage unlike any other in the galaxy. Despite their technological inferiority compared to many galactic civilizations, the unique characteristics of Earth's environment, combined with human ingenuity, present significant challenges for any external force seeking to invade or subjugate the planet. This report explores the homeworld advantage that Earth provides to humanity's defense, examining key factors that make Earth a uniquely difficult target, and providing recommendations on how the Xar Dominion can prepare for any future military engagements on the human homeworld. Phase 1. The Psychological and Tactical Power of Earth. Humanity's homeworld, Earth, is not just a geographic location but a central element in the psychological fabric of their military strength. The significance of Earth to humanity extends beyond merely being their cradle of civilization. It is a symbol of their identity, their origin, and their collective will to survive. This emotional attachment manifests in the form of unwavering resolve when defending their planet. When we invaded Earth during the first galactic conflict, we underestimated the extent of their commitment to the planet. Even as their cities crumbled and their military resources dwindled, humans fought fiercely to preserve their home, driven by an almost primal instinct to protect what is theirs. Their resilience under extreme conditions cannot be overstated. The psychological power of Earth's defense, often referred to by humans as homeworld defense syndrome, gives their soldiers an intensity and fortitude that outmatches even their technological deficits. Furthermore, the planet itself presents unique tactical advantages that humans exploit to great effect. Earth's varied terrain, unpredictable weather patterns, and complex ecosystems provide both challenge and opportunity for human forces. This environment is something no other species has truly mastered, yet humans have evolved to thrive in it. Phase 2. The Geopolitical Landscape and Earth's Global Networks. Unlike other planets in the galaxy that are often divided into a handful of factions or regions, Earth's geopolitical landscape is far more intricate and interconnected. While we often see human nations as fragmented, the global networks that span the planet offer them a remarkable degree of coordination, even during times of conflict. Global communication systems, the internet, satellites, and human communication technologies allow instantaneous sharing of information, intelligence, and updates across Earth. This network plays a significant role in humanity's ability to mobilize defense forces quickly, share resources, and coordinate strategic efforts on a global scale. Even in times of war, human communication has the power to unite factions and increase the effectiveness of their military responses. Technological infrastructure. Earth's technological infrastructure is not uniform but is instead highly decentralized. This decentralization presents both advantages and disadvantages. On one hand, it means that Earth's strategic assets, factories, defense systems, communications, are spread across the planet, making it difficult for an invading force to target a single weak point. On the other hand, this decentralized infrastructure allows for rapid adaptation and self-sufficiency. If one city or region is disabled, the rest of the world can continue to operate and recover quickly. Human resource mobilization. In times of crisis, humanity's ability to mobilize its population is unparalleled. From their vast military reserves to their civilian population's rapid shift to war production, the entire planet is capable of supporting a full-scale war effort. This resilience comes not only from the technologies they employ but also from the inherent unity humans find in times of desperation. When Earth is under threat, humans do not merely fight as soldiers, they fight as one collective entity, a force far greater than the sum of its parts. Phase 3. environmental and terrain advantages on Earth. Earth's natural environment provides distinct advantages for humans when engaged in warfare, particularly for defending their homeworld. Unlike other planets that may have been engineered for specific purposes, Earth's diversity of terrain, climates, and ecosystems make it a natural fortress. These features have shaped the strategies humans employ to maximize their defensive capabilities. Varied terrain and natural resources. Earth's topography includes everything from dense forests, mountain ranges, and arid deserts to oceans, swamps, and urban landscapes. This diversity allows humans to exploit various defensive positions and to adapt to virtually any combat situation. Urban centers provide ideal locations for urban warfare, while wilderness areas allow for guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and supply caches that can evade detection. In contrast to the barren or homogeneous landscapes of many other worlds, Earth's natural complexity creates constant opportunities for tactical innovation. Weather and environmental conditions. Earth's weather systems are dynamic and unpredictable, from frequent storms and powerful winds to extreme temperature variations. While this might seem a challenge for any species trying to invade, humans use this uncertainty to their advantage. Storms and cloud cover can conceal movements. Extreme cold can limit enemy endurance, and high altitudes offer tactical advantages in terms of visibility and advantage in mobility. When we attempted to invade Earth's northern regions, for example, we were unprepared for the brutal winter conditions that humans used to slow down our forces and harass our supply lines. Oceans and waterways. Earth's oceans cover over 70% of its surface, and humans have mastered the art of naval warfare. Their ability to operate on both land and sea gives them a flexible approach to combat that few species can match. Naval defense plays a significant role in humanity's homeworld defense doctrine, and their submarine fleets and underwater bases offer strategic advantages that other species often overlook. Phase 4. Human Innovation, the Homeworld Defense Doctrine. In addition to the natural and geopolitical advantages Earth offers, humans have also developed a homeworld defense doctrine, a military strategy specifically designed to protect their planet from outside threats. This doctrine is based on three core principles. Multi-layered defense systems. Humans have designed an integrated defense system that combines satellite-based surveillance, ground-based defense grids, and subterranean bunkers. This multi-layered approach ensures that even if an invading force breaches one layer of defense, there are multiple contingencies in place to prevent further advancement. Citizen soldiers and civilian mobilization. Unlike many galactic species that rely on professional military forces, humans train their civilian populations to act as defenders in times of war. This includes everything from basic survival training to specialized military education. As a result, even if their military ranks are overwhelmed, humanity's reserve forces, often equipped with advanced civilian technology, can take up arms and defend their cities and borders. Decentralized command and control. In contrast to the rigid, hierarchical command structures seen in many other species, humans employ decentralized decision-making in battle. This allows smaller units to operate independently and make decisions. Phase 9. The Human Spirit, Why We Underestimated Them and How to Prepare for the Next Encounter. Subject: The Unquantifiable Resilience of Humanity in Warfare. Date: 115th Galactic Cycle. Year 7027. Prepared by Lt. Exoric of the Zdar Dominion. Executive Summary. This final report in our series on humanity's military capabilities will focus on the most critical, yet most elusive, factor in our previous encounters with humans, their resilience. Over the course of several encounters, it has become evident that humanity's greatest strength is not their weapons, tactics, or technological innovations, it is their spirit. The human will to survive, to fight, and to adapt under duress has turned the tide of battles where they were, by all logical standards, destined to lose. In this report, we will attempt to quantify the unquantifiable, the power of the human spirit in warfare. Understanding this key aspect of humanity's military strength is critical for any future conflict. If the Zdar Dominion is to have a chance at victory in any engagement with Earth, we must prepare for a battle of wills as much as a battle of weapons. Phase 1. The Nature of Human Resilience. Unlike other species in the galaxy, whose sense of self-preservation and survival often leads them to retreat when faced with overwhelming opposition. Humans exhibit an unparalleled ability to endure extreme conditions. Their mental toughness, combined with their emotional intelligence, makes them unpredictable in battle. This resilience is rooted in their biology, culture, and history, and manifests in the following ways. Survival instinct. Humans are biologically hardwired for survival. This instinct is not merely about avoiding death, but about overcoming any obstacle, no matter how insurmountable it may appear. Throughout their history, humans have faced catastrophes, plagues, wars, environmental destruction, and emerged stronger each time. They do not see failure as a permanent state but as a challenge to be conquered. The drive for growth. Unlike many species that are content with their present condition, humans have an innate drive to evolve and improve. This drive manifests both in their technological advancements and in their social structures, which constantly adapt to new threats. In battle, this means that humans do not simply react to threats, they seek to learn from them and grow, often adapting strategies mid-conflict in ways that take their enemies by surprise. Unity in adversity. Humans are not only resilient individually, but they possess a remarkable capacity for collective resilience. When pushed to the brink, they often unite in the face of external threats. This unity is not always based on a single leader or ideology, but on a shared desire to protect their way of life. Even when their cities are reduced to rubble or their forces are severely outmatched, humans find ways to support each other, making them an incredibly difficult enemy to demoralize. Phase 2. Key instances of human resilience in warfare. While we have previously analyzed specific battles, it is now essential to examine some of the most striking examples of human resilience. These examples demonstrate how humanity's spirit can turn seemingly certain defeats into monumental victories. The last stand of New Paris, year 7022. During the Tsar invasion of the city of New Paris, our forces expected a quick victory. The city was poorly fortified, and the human defenders were outnumbered and outgunned. However, what we didn't account for was the unrelenting courage of the human defenders. Despite overwhelming odds, they fought street by street, house by house, and ultimately forced our forces to withdraw. The resilience of the new Parisian defenders was largely psychological. They were fighting for their homes, their families, and their identity, and this made them nearly impossible to break. The Children of Mars, year 7023. The Martian colonies, once dependent on Tsar technology for their survival, were left vulnerable when a catastrophic energy storm rendered our supply chains useless. The Martians, a population of miners and engineers, could have surrendered. Instead, they demonstrated remarkable resourcefulness and resolve. In just a matter of weeks, they managed to repair the damaged infrastructure, build new energy sources, and form a defensive coalition. Despite being abandoned and outnumbered, the spirit of Martian independence drove them to a stunning victory, preventing the Dominion from gaining control over the Red Planet. The Siege of Humanity's Will, year 7024. In one of the most remarkable displays of human resilience, a global resistance network fought against our occupation forces on Earth. Despite being severely outgunned, humans launched coordinated sabotage operations across the planet's continents. Even as their cities were reduced to rubble, human resistance groups found ways to disrupt supply lines, weaken communication networks, and sabotage critical infrastructure. These operations continued for years, long after we had assumed that Earth was under our control. The power of the human will was such that it took a massive, prolonged effort from the Dominion to finally quash the last of the resistance. Phase 3. Psychological warfare, understanding human mentality in conflict. One of the most effective methods humanity uses to amplify their resilience in warfare is their psychological tactics. Understanding how humans fight not only with weapons but with willpower is critical for the Tsar Dominion to anticipate their actions in future encounters. The power of the underdog. Humans have a natural tendency to identify with the underdog in any conflict. This cultural aspect is reflected in both their storytelling traditions and their approach to warfare. They are at their most dangerous when they feel they have been wronged, or when they are cast as underdogs with little hope of success. The narrative of overcoming adversity drives human warriors to unprecedented levels of determination, often transforming them into dangerous combatants when they feel backed into a corner. The victory or death mentality. Humans often embrace the mentality that they have nothing to lose. This is particularly evident when they are defending their homeworld or their families. In such situations, they will fight with an intensity that is not driven by fear but by a desperate hope for survival. This desperation makes them unpredictable and prone to extreme measures, such as sacrificing strategic advantage for the chance to land a single, decisive blow. Sacrifice for the greater good. A deeply ingrained value in human societies is the concept of sacrifice for the collective benefit. This manifests on the battlefield in selfless acts of heroism, where individuals are willing to lay down their lives not for personal gain but to protect the larger cause. It is this mentality that drives the human resistance networks to fight on, even when facing overwhelming opposition. Phase 4. Recommendations for Tsar Dominion, preparing for humanity's resilience. In any future conflict with humanity, the Tsar Dominion must anticipate and plan for the psychological and emotional factors that contribute to their unbreakable resilience. The following recommendations will help ensure the Dominion is prepared to face the full might of human willpower. Countering human morale. The Tsar Dominion should never underestimate the power of human morale. Disrupting this morale can be key to weakening their resolve. Targeting human symbols of identity, such as cultural landmarks, leaders, or key alliances, can sow confusion and undermine their unified front. However, this should be done strategically, as too much pressure may inadvertently galvanize their resolve even further.